Hello everyone, it's Cass. Hope everyone is having a great Halloween this year. I'm always looking for something to spookify that is also functional and not just decorative. I also like to customize things, so today I'm using this wood casket to make a mini traveling case for my medication, earrings, hair stuff, basically anything that would fit in there. I oftentimes don't give myself enough time in the morning to grab accessories, so if I can get that ready the night before in this little casket, I'd be set. Also, I tend to forget to take my medication, so this is a good way to make it a little fun. I decided since I love skulls so much, I decoupage one right on the front. I used Frederick as my inspiration. By the way, Frederick is my pocket skeleton. I take him everywhere. And he even comes with an extra set of hands. I've been having a lot of fun this month with Frederick. I like to pose him and hide him in unsuspecting places for my husband to find. Kind of like Elf on a Shelf concept. Yeah, I know. It's weird. But anyway, that's Frederick. He's just sitting on that pumpkin stem. So here is one of my signs that I happened to make it about 2 years ago. I love the green letters, so I'm going to do my best at duplicating this onto my casket. Getting the letters small enough is hard. It took me 6 sketches before I realized it was easier to just grab a dripped out alphabet off of the good old Google to reference and resize. First things first, we gotta make this casket black as black can get. Black is my happy color, and if I happen to be wearing colors, it's usually a bad day for me. It's super hard to grasp anything with these braces on. I'm decoupaging the skull on. It's not staying black and white though. I'm planning on green theme. I want to color this in layers too, so it gives a raised look. Not quite 3D, but still catches attention. I waited until the Mod Podge was tacky and then added the letters. These letters were the worst. I could not get them in the correct placement and ended up having to redo it twice, maybe 3 times. Where are my tweezers? I usually have them all over, but when you need one, that's when they decide to disappear. Am I right? Oh yeah, hope you're okay with seeing the top of my head. I had issues placing these pieces of paper. I need a better solution for camera placement if I'm going to be doing more detailed work. That'll be added to my list of upgrades, of course. Thankfully, I had my X-Acto to help me out, or I don't think I could have fixed the curve. I was able to pry them carefully off and then redo it, but like I said, it took me at least 3 times before I was satisfied with the curve. I wasn't careful enough and almost took out one of the letters. I did end up actually taking one off though, but at least I fixed it. I decided last minute to add some green slime dripping from the skull. It looked a little bland, with the letters being more of the focal point, and to be honest, I want all of it to stand out. I was actually going to paint slime coming out of his mouth, but it would have looked too crowded with the words also being drippy. So I just decided against it. Let's spiff up the bottom half of the casket, so when I open it, It looks like a green portal into the starry abyss. Too creepy? Maybe a little bit. I'll tone it back a little bit. Okay, let me clean up a little of my mess before starting on the letters. If I don't do it now, it probably won't get done, and then it'll become a huge mess. I'll knock things over, and etc. I'm using 3 greens and a yellow. Honestly, I probably didn't need to use the yellow, since the lightest green that we used on the inside of the casket was pretty close to the same shade. I always paint from light to dark when doing an ombre. I don't know why. I know a lot of people do the opposite. I guess I'm just a weird one. I kind of skipped around when editing. There was a lot of my head and not much actually seeing the painting. Plus, it's so far away you can't see the details. I need an upgrade. I really do. Alright, so now it's the skull's turn. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to wing it and hope it looks okay with the letters. First, I'm going to highlight the whole skull with white so it provides me with a background that will help the greens pop a little bit, especially the teeth. We don't want it to look toothless, right? Frederick, are you toothless? He's not toothless. It got pretty late, like 1 a.m. Yeah, that's late for me. I have a full-time job and I've been working later than usual, so I get tired around 1 a.m. now. I wrapped things up so I could finish the project in the morning. There was no way I would have painted well at that time. Today, this skull is getting some color back into his bones. I almost wanted to leave it white, but it was clashing too much with the letters, and that isn't the goal I'm after. Have you played Playtime Poppy? Oh my god, it's super crazy. Huggy is super creepy. It's like a Sonic meets Cookie Monster Muppet Giant. Anyway, I'm listening to Get Your Hug by Kyle Allen Music. I wish that was out before playing it. It's so good. Totally puts me in the scary game playing vibe. I also want to play Phasmophobia too. They have some new updates that look pretty cool that look like it's more immersive. I get spooked easily though, so it's like every second I'm screaming. It's not like I haven't had any paranormal experiences, however, these games are designed to play with your brain and scare you. I think later today, I'll take a walk in one of the oldest cemeteries around here. It's really pretty when all the leaves turn. Last year, at this very moment, there was a blizzard and freezing rain. We had like 2 inches already on the ground. This year, it's just rainy, like every other year. It's usually cold and rainy on my birthday. I think the best way to put color on this skull is to do some dry brushing. The skull doesn't need globs of paint, just enough to define some shadows. I think I may need a reference though for this one, so I don't mess up where the shadows go. I have this skull. It's part of a set of 3. If you've seen my earlier videos, those are featured at the closing clips. I painted those blue and purple, and I'm going to be using the same shading, but with green this time. Hello everyone, it's me Cass. This is part 2 of this mini casket traveling case. Today we are adding an inside wall using this leftover vinyl. I bought half a yard of this black vinyl and it has specks of glitter. It reminds me of space and stars. Perfect to make our little casket inside a portal! I originally bought this to line my little table in the bathroom. I had a lot extra, as you can see. I lined my desk with some and still had a little bit of scraps left, so I decided to line my casket with it since it's sold as an outdoor awning fabric. I traced the casket as best I could, but it was hard to get it just right. I want to be able to just lay my pieces in and not have to reposition them like I had to do with the letters on the front of the casket. So this part is pretty important. I'm using simple Gorilla Glue, the kind that dries clear, of course. I'm usually pretty sloppy, but today I used a brain cell and used Q-tips to smear on the glue. It worked too well. Like, where the heck has this brain cell been? It's surprisingly bright today, however, it's also cold and rainy. I don't know how to feel about that. It's just giving me glare, and putting vinyl on my desk was probably not a good idea. That's it, I can't take it anymore. I need to rip these braces off. I need my flexibility to be precise when placing this vinyl in the casket. I can't do that with these things on. I actually have good news. I went to the radiologist for an ultrasound on both wrists and they couldn't pinpoint my cysts. So, I won't need to get cyst removal in January. Just carpal tunnel snippies, which is great. I actually didn't really need a template to measure out for the sides. The ribbon itself was actually surprisingly the same size, same measurements. I did end up measuring it though, just in case you want to know what the size is, and it's about 1/2 inch. I had to use the ruler to push down on the corner so it wouldn't come back up, but it only worked for a little bit. My thought was to glue all the sides down in one go, but that deflated right away. So they had to be cut into 4 pieces. That's okay though. The glue is water resistant, so if I end up spilling something or lip gloss ends up melting, it won't be the end of the world. In order to keep the sides and corners down while drying, I used clothespins and binder clips from around the house. Yeah, I had to do a scavenger hunt, but thankfully I live with a chip monster and clips are always available. That's because the chips don't last long enough to need a clip. Sorry. Yeah, by the way, we don't own fancy clips, so those things break all the time, so we just have like binder clips and odds and ends to hold the bag shut, mostly for the chips that I eat, because I'm not a chip monster. I take a long time to finish a bag of chips. Now for the bottom pattern. This should fit snug. It should. Don't mind the blur. Don't mind it. My camera is suspended and it's reflecting off of the desk. Have I mentioned these scissors? Have I mentioned these scissors in the past project? These skizzies, yes, I call them skizzies, can come apart and be dual blades, double knives. I've actually dropped them and they came apart, but that's okay because they are put together very easily again. It makes cleaning them very easy because you can get into the cracks better, I suppose. It's also easy to lock them together to form a skizzy blade again. I really wanted to install a mirror on the opening, kind of like an eyeshadow palette. But mirrors are expensive. And what if I drop the casket and it shatters? That wouldn't be good. We'll just make sure Frederick is safe and just cut out another casket bottom. I mean, better safe than sorry, right? Right, Frederick? I don't want you to get glass shards in your jaw or your eye sockets. That would, or even your ribs, that would really suck. That would be painful to take out. Oh yeah, that's right, you don't have nerves because you're bones. Well, no, bones have nerves in them, right? Am I misremembering anatomy? Frederick, I think I need to have another anatomy class. It's like Cinderella and the glass slipper. Once it fits, it's going to be satisfying. Hopefully. I hope so, because this is ridiculous. Time to switch the stones over to the other side of the casket. Could you imagine sleeping on these rocks? It wouldn't be too comfortable, would it? I don't know, Frederick. Are you okay with sleeping on stones? No? Alright, we won't let him sleep on stones, but, you know, we gotta do this for now, so that it doesn't bubble up. You can tell when it's nighttime. The video is more yellow. Even without the pumpkin lights, it's more yellow. I need to fix this. I really do need an upgrade. I know I keep saying that I need an upgrade. I know. It's just the upgrades cost monies, and we're gonna have to figure out something, right? Oh yeah, Scotch tape is the best. Totally helped hold the curved area down nice and tight. I couldn't find like a binder clip or anything that would do that without like peeling off the other side of the curve, so I'm really happy and thankful that I found that tape worked. Yeah, tape worked really nice. It definitely looks like a portal to a dead zone or a black hole. Ooh, spooky! Really giving me spooky vibes. I love this thing. Alright, it's time to dig into our glass skull for the parts. I took the casket apart off camera, and then I totally forgot to mention that I took it apart. Oh well. Anyway, I used this skull T-light a lot for holding small screws and random small bits I don't want to lose. Most of the time though, it has my D&D dice in it. Well, even though I stuffed the skull, it looks like I'm missing a few screws. Story of my life, honestly. What a good representation of my life. I'm so sorry. It's like losing your marbles, but it's screws instead. I'm a little screwy. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'll find him. Don't worry. I'll find him and we'll get this casket all spiffed up for Mr. Frederick. It appears there's a bit of a problem. The screws are a bit too loose and won't tighten. Of course, just my luck. I see the super glue is a quick fix though, so we'll make sure that this casket won't be coming apart anytime soon. At least not on my watch. A little dab here and a little dab there. That should do the trick. Why is it so hard to squeeze out a tiny drop of glue though? My goodness. I've never had so much trouble getting out some glue in the whole entire world of my life. Ah, see? The magnetic pull is too much, and it just pulls everything towards it. This is sure way to lose more screws. Best be more careful, I suppose. Screws to finish the project. You'd never guessed where I found the remaining screws. Any guesses? They never made it into the glass skull. They were behind it on the desk this whole time. Oh man, I was down on the floor for a half hour with a flashlight, searching everywhere. I did not want Rishi to find those screws and eat them. That would be like the last thing I'd ever want on my list. I guess I'm always going to have a few loose screws. Again, I'm sorry. I could not resist. So once it's all put together, there were a few paint touch-ups I did off camera. Mostly the green framing part though. It was a challenge to make sure you could barely see that part until you opened it. But challenge was accepted. Also, make sure you leave it overnight so the Mod Podgy stuff can dry 100%. My impatience cost me more touch-up time and had to use a butter knife crowbar it open the first time. Just make sure it's not tacky and you should be fine. Alright, the moment everyone has been waiting for. Well, at least I have. It's been in the back of my head throughout this whole time. Frederick! Frederick! Would you like to try your new travel things? Yeah? Oh, so cool! Let's find you some warm blankets. I hear we are getting snow in a few days, so I don't want you catching the cold while we're out and about. There! How do you feel, Frederick? Cozy? That's good. What's that? Are you going to be alone? No, of course not, Frederick. There's also going to be some odds and ends sharing the space, like earrings, medication, hair clips, and extra hair ties. Whatever I can fit into this thing that will minimize my time getting ready for work in the morning will be more than a success, right, Frederick? You know me. I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I love my sleep. And it's usually zombie mode, Cass, from 7 to 8 a.m. After that, if I can grab some caffeine to regain consciousness, only then can I ever be trusted to poke earrings in. Speaking of other things, let's see how much will fit in this casket without Frederick. Oh, by the way, this is the damage made from using a butter knife to pry this thing open because I was too impatient to let it fully dry before closing it. Anyway, there's Frederick. He's going to be watching us again. Okay, so I never leave home without my skelly clips. They need to fit in here, for sure. Can't leave without my celestial necklace. It has a piece of felt inside that I put lavender or sage essential oils on it. I don't usually wear it, but keeping it close by has been a lifesaver when it comes to minimizing anxiety attacks. And of course, earrings need a spot. These are my go-to earrings. Most certainly pumpkins are high on the must-wear priority list. Oh boy, my severed raven talon, of course. Not real, by the way. I would never unless it was from charity. This claw is ceramic, and it broke off of one of my raven decorations. I was supposed to glue it back on, but instead it just became my lucky raven talon. The last things are barrettes, specifically purple, green, and black. Does anyone else get bored real fast and need to switch it up a bit? I tend to do this a lot with barrettes. Also, does anyone cross them when transporting them? I find that by crossing them together, it minimizes the chances of losing them. And just for safe measure, let's put in a rose quartz, just in case I'd like to feel some healing powers. And last but not least, we have Frederick himself. May as well see if he fits too and can close it. I also want to do a shake test. Since he has no mushy insides, I shouldn't have to worry much on organ damage. Just skull fractures, so we'll be a little gentle. Don't worry. I took Frederick out of the casket before shaking more vigorously. I wanted to see how it settled, if it's still in place or all jumbled together. So it still looks pretty organized. That's really nice. And if you don't want to use it as a travel case, you don't have to. It totally works as just a decoration. You could probably stash something inside without anyone noticing. Well, that's going to be it for this craft. Hope you all enjoyed it. By the way, I kinda did a mini photo shoot of Frederick, so if you're interested, that will be posted soonish, along with my hair update, and I'm also doing a video soon about the expected upgrades that's going to be improving my videos. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and a great weekend, and stay hydrated, cause it's crazy out there.